Hey there, CJ Math students, and welcome to Homework 5.2, One-Step Equations. This is a preview homework, so it says solve each equation. You must show all work. So it would be a good idea to have your notes, your notebook right next to you. Turn to page 2, where it tells you the 5 general rules, and then also page 3, obviously, where we did a bunch of these examples today. So for number 1, I go ahead and draw my scales of justice. That will help me locate the side with the variable. That's on the left-hand side. Also, right off the bat, I got to say, oh, that's got to be plus and negative, right? Because anytime I see a minus sign, I'm going to change that to adding the opposite. And then so I ask myself, okay, what is the opposite of a negative 10? That means I add a positive 10. This cancels out to 0. This drops down. You get A is equal to, and then negative 29 plus 10, that is a negative 19. That is a DSSM, different sign, subtract, right? Don't get tricked and think, oh, I just add them up and it's negative 39. No, that's a trick answer, right? So B is your answer. And then you're going to check your work. So you're going to check your solution by plugging it back in. So negative 19, you're going to say negative 19. That was my answer, right? Plus a negative 10. Does that equal negative 29? And hopefully you should get negative 19 plus negative 10. Oh, negative 29 equals negative 29. So, wait, Mr. Mason, do you want us to do that for every problem? Yes, I do. Quickly, let's do number 2 together. Right? Draw your scales of justice. Notice this time, the variable is on the right-hand side. No big deal. I got a minus sign, so I say plus negative. And this time I'll actually add 5 to both sides. These cancel off. I get n is equal to, and negative 8 plus 5, that is a negative 3. Again, we had a DSSM problem. Should you write that? Yes, you should. Right? Now you're going to check. You're going to plug it in. So it does negative 8 equal, all I'm doing is using this original equation and plugging my answer in, negative 3 plus negative 5. Well, is negative 3 plus negative 5 negative 8? Yes, negative 8 equals negative 8. So yes, I'm correct. So A is your correct answer. Right? Notice, had you pretended that like B was your right answer, and you said, oh, 8 plus 5, that's negative 13. When you plugged it in, negative 13 plus negative 5, that would give you negative 18. So you would know that's not your solution. So that's why checking really helps you understand whether or not you have the correct answer. All right, so the rest I'll have you do on your own. On the back side, I will help you with 2 problems. So the first one, remember, when I see, this is from today's notes, when I see multiplication, yes, you should write this down, I divide. Right? And you do so by the exact number, by the exact, I'm going to say, coefficient of the variable. That's a fancy way of saying the number attached to the variable. Okay? And exact is right. So you're not doing the opposite here, right? The opposite of multiplication is division. But like on number 11, I'm not going to divide by negative 13. I'm going to divide by 13. So divide by 13, divide by 13. And this is division, right? Division. Right? We're not adding, we're not subtracting anymore. These cancel out because it's just 1. 13 divided by 13 is just 1. So P is equal to negative 39 divided by 13 is a negative 3. And that is a DSN, different signs negative. So notice how they had positive 3 as an answer too. You will get this entire paper wrong unless you keep track of negatives. So let's do number 12 together. So again, I'm dividing not by 6, but by negative 6, the exact number, the exact coefficient of the variable. So divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6. Again, they cancel out. There's just 1. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1. So I have K equals negative 36 divided by negative 36 is a positive 6. That's same signs positive. Notice how I had negative 6 as an answer, right? If you don't do your integer rules, you will get these answers wrong. I'll do one more with you. I'll do number 14. So I'll divide by negative 14. Sorry, I messed that up a little bit. Divide by negative 14 on both sides. And these cancel out because they're just 1. And down your n, so n equals, and it's backwards, but that's no big deal, negative 19. It's negative because this was a DSN. So notice, on every problem, even on the front, I'm labeling what type of integer rule I'm using, and on every problem I have like p equals the number, or in this case, negative 19 equals n, right? But notice, if you don't use your integer rules, you're going to mess up, right? If you added 14 to both sides on this one, you could have totally thought that C was the correct answer, but that's not true. And again, you can get these by checking, right? If I go back on this one and I check my solution and I say, all right, is 13 times negative 3 equal to negative 39? Well, 13 times negative 3 is negative 39. That equals negative 39. Boom, I did it. Same with this one. Is negative 6 times my answer, which was a positive 6, equal to negative 36, right? All I'm doing is plugging my solution back in place of the variable. This is negative 36. And negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. Boom, I'm done. But this does you no good unless you actually know your integer rules, right? Is 266 equal to a negative 14 parentheses negative times negative 19? And in this case, yes, it is. If you use your multiplication chart and you go across the 14s, you'll see 14 times 19 is 266. And because they're both negative, I get a positive. So yes, I want you to check your work as well. That's it. Call me if you have a question.